When you were married, can you give us some of the highs and the lows, the good and the bad? I mean, it wasn't all gloomy. There was some good to marriage.
Yeah. Marriage for me, the beginning was very good. I was blessed with a beautiful family. My in-laws were super. It all started very well. Along the way, I don't know what happened. I thought I could deal with it alone. With time, I couldn't. I had to talk to somebody. I needed to talk to somebody. And the question was, who do you talk to? Who can you trust? Who will understand you? Who would listen? So these questions kept going. And I went in for a while before I decided to talk to someone who would listen. And from there, it got worse and worse each day, you know. It wasn't too obvious, no, because it wasn't, we were not fighting, we were not having arguments here and there. It was something very quiet. It was quiet, but
like a silent war.
Silent war. There was no arguments, there was no quarrel. We were not quarreling. Outside, you see us a perfect couple. But when we come in, there was no communication. It was just, we were just there, you know. And it was draining me. I wasn't happy. Those who knew me could tell. At on-site, they see you and, are you okay? And the usual cliche, oh, I'm fine. No, but deep down within you, you were dying. So it wasn't that bad from the beginning, but along the line, something happened, and till date, either of us doesn't know why and what happened.
Okay. I'll find out whether you are still in communication. Maybe some people become friends after divorce, but we'll get there. I want to find out from you, I mean, at what point, you've been married for 12 years, so at what point within this 12 years did things start changing?
Honestly, 2 years into the marriage.
Wow. Yeah. And you stayed for 10 years?
I stayed for 10 years, yes.
Wow.
2 years into the marriage, I started feeling alone. There was this deep vacuum that I couldn't find anything to fill. And I kept telling myself, oh, maybe things will work out. Things will work out. Then the years went by. I had my first daughter after 2 years of marriage. And then it took me 5 years to have my second child. So in between my daughter and my son, it wasn't that easy for me. And I also told myself that if I have to end it, I was not going to leave with one child. Because even if I plan marrying again, I don't plan having children. And I didn't plan having children even within the marriage after 40 years.
Wow.
Yes, so that was the plan. So I kept praying and hoping that things got better. But the days went by, it got worse. So after I had my son, I needed to make a very serious decision because I was losing myself.
Between your daughter and your son, how many years was it?
5.
Wow, okay.
5 years. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But I pulled through because I had told myself, I had set some targets for myself and I needed to meet those targets. And that was having another child before, even if I had to leave the marriage, I would, because I didn't want to walk out with just one child. The temptation to have another elsewhere was very high.
You wanted your children to have one father.
Okay. That was the whole idea. So I did. And after my son, I mean, from pregnancy through to delivery, that was when I made a decision to walk out. It wasn't easy. Making the decision to leave a marriage, a man you have loved and dreamed to be with for the rest of your life, and then suddenly things turn around in a way that you decide. It's not easy. It took me 5 years to make that decision. after my daughter and then having my son. That was 5 years.
But what were some of the red flags? I mean, what did you see that you probably ignored? What were some of the warning signs?
Thank you. There were lots of red flags. But for me, like you said, I overlooked them. Communication, there was a deep gap in communication. We stopped talking. We stopped going out. And even when we did, it was a family outing where we had the extended family with us. The moment you step out there, he disappears. And then there was this frequent going out. He goes out almost every day. And then it's continued from there. And I kept quiet about it. I didn't want to be a nagging wife. I didn't want to be a complaining wife. And each time he came, I was like, oh, you've done it again. Oh, but this one.
He's done what again?
You went out and you are coming back late.
Okay.
Okay, so it went on and on and on for years before I started talking about it. I'm not happy the way you're going about things. And we didn't have time with each other. You know, you go to work, I go to work, we come back, we are there. You know, and it got bad. It's when you're married and your husband doesn't even eat your food. Those were some of the signs. You know, I started asking myself. He would give you an excuse, and we were not talking.
Was he abusive?
At one point, after I had my son, he did, physically abuse me.
If you don't mind sharing, what did he do?
He hit me. He beat me. Blue black. And I still have pictures of those that event. And he still cannot tell why he did that to date, and I never talked about it since that day. I've never talked about it. I've never asked him, why did you do that? What did I do? Because he couldn't tell why he did it, and I didn't know what I had done. You know, and it was one thing I never thought would ever happen in my marriage. So when it did happen, I knew that.
We are grateful, and I'm sure my viewers are grateful that you're sharing your story with us. I mean, I'm sure you haven't had to tell anyone in a long time, and we are making you remember all these things. We're sorry about that, but I mean, did you also find out from him? You said there was lack of communication, but it takes two to communicate. Were you expecting him to start a conversation first, or was he probably also expecting you to start communicating with him first? I mean, how did it all suddenly drop out? Did he not enjoy your conversations anymore? You didn't want to nag, so you were bottling up a lot of things, and he probably thought you overlook certain things. I mean, some guys think that if you don't express jealousy, then it means you don't probably care enough, you know. Did he sense that?
Yeah, he did. He did. But like you said, some men would just feel that, oh, once she's not talking, it's okay. Okay, she's not talking, so why should I go asking her questions? And I have sat him down a couple of times, not once, I think twice or three times, to ask what is going on, what is happening. Trust me, he couldn't place a finger on what it was. And then we lived in a place where other family members were. So I'm on my own and he's on his own. So when he comes, he's either with the other family members, and I'm just by myself. When I have to go to sleep, I go to sleep. I mean,
was he being intimate? Did he stop intimacy too?
Yeah.
He stopped?
Yeah.
At what point?
I wouldn't be able to say, but we went a long way. Years. Many years. I wouldn't want to specific.
I understand you. I understand you. So, I mean, when you two stopped communicating with each other, how did that create a vacuum in your life?
It did create a deep one, because I was there alone, no family. He had all the family members around him.
While you were living with his family?
Yeah.
You were living in a family house?
Family house where we had our own apartment.
Okay, but it was like, let's say, a mansion with apartments, so
okay. The privacy.
Okay.
So he spent more time with the family.
And they didn't even ask why. Why wouldn't you spend time with your wife and children?
Well, he's a grown man, and nobody wanted to interfere in his life. They felt he knew what he wanted and what was good for him, so they left that to him. I know they have chipped in once or twice, and probably his response did not encourage them to come in with him. So that was what really happened. So he comes back from work, and sometimes you hear the car driving, and 15 minutes before you see him, and once he says, "Good evening, how was your day?" he's gone. I don't see him.
He doesn't ask for dinner?
No.
So at that time, did you sense he was cheating or seeing someone else?
Yeah, I did. I did sense that. And
did you prove it? Did you have any proof?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I had proof. It's not somebody I didn't know. I knew.
Somebody you knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew. And
a friend?
Not my friend. He was with that person before he married me.
His ex?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had proof. I had proof. At one point, I just confronted him on the internet. I was like, you know what? You step out there, there are people who know you are my husband, but you do not know them. And when I step out, there are people who know I am your wife, but I do not know them. So when you're out there, be careful. I mean, that was all I said to him, and we let it go. So I knew, because you can't have your husband go out all the night, come back in the morning, and you think all is well. There should be another woman. I was the other woman.
When you were supposed to be the main woman?
I was.
Okay, so when you did some introspection, did you find out whether you had something to do with it? Like, maybe you didn't excite him anymore. Maybe that excitement that happened just vanished. I mean, maybe not even your fault. It isn't even your fault that excitement vanished. But did you sense that probably you didn't attract him anymore? I mean, I did. I
asked myself so many questions.
Yeah.
There were times I would look at myself in the mirror and I would turn around and ask myself, what is wrong with me? Because I just felt he fell out of love. There was no what word do I use? There was no attraction. Attraction is not the word. He fell out of just love
for you.
There was no affection.
Did you ever find out whether you had done something wrong?
Many times I sat him down and I asked, "What is there anything I have done?" I mean, he will talk plenty. He's not able to put a finger on, okay, you did this to me and you did that to me. I remember at one point I asked him and I said, "Look, if there's anything I have done, tell me and I'm ready to apologize for that. That is if you still want me and you forgive me, because I'm not sure you hadn't wronged me in this relationship, but I have let go of some of them." There was nothing.
He said nothing.
He just said, "No, there are a few things about you that I don't like." At one point he was able to tell me that, "I regret marrying you."
Okay.
Yeah, and then I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes." I said, "When did you realize that?" Yes, immediately after our wedding. I said, "So why didn't you let me go? You should have just sat me down. We are adults." I thought I did, but unfortunately, you don't waste my time and yours.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not happy. Obviously, I'm not. And that was it. So it was difficult to let go, because I looked at my kids. The family was so nice, but here was the main the major issue that I couldn't deal with. But every other person around, I have a very good relationship with the family, and even him, we have no issues. I walked out. At a point, I lost myself, and I needed to find myself. I said this to myself. I said, I need to leave to live.
Okay.
So that was what kept me going. I said, I have to leave so that I will live. Because if I stay in, I might just...
Okay, some people stay in such relationships for some reason, one reason or the other. Maybe they are children, maybe they are scared of what society may say. I mean, before you consider divorce, we'll get into how long it took, but before you consider divorce, did you think about all these things?
Oh yeah, I did. The people are going to say I'm the bad one, you know, in our society. That's why she couldn't stay. So that fear was there. There was also the issue of my kids. Should I leave? I cannot leave and leave my children behind. I would want to take my children with me. And should that happen and I'm not able to do that, what happens? So it was one of the few things that kept me in there. I kept hanging in there until I just had to be bold about the decision, and it wasn't easy. It's not an easy decision, especially when there are children and you want to walk out, because there's going to be that scuffle of I want custody, I also want custody.
Okay. We'll come back and continue with this conversation. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back so that you can recover from the emotions. We'll be right back. Come back from this break, and today my guest is Nafisa to Osman. She was married for 12 years, and after which she's been divorced. They had 2 children out of the marriage, and today she's picked up the pieces from her life and she's made something worthy of note. Before we went on the break, she was telling us the instances that led to the divorce. I don't intend to get into it further, but let's talk about how she picked up from the unpleasant aspects of her life. Nafisa too, I don't know what your children have said about this, but I want you to tell me how you've all recovered. You have custody of the children now. Okay. So how have they taken it?
My daughter is 11. She saw a few of the times that I had to cry. And so when it happened, I told her, you know what, I can't continue crying. So she said, Mommy, I understand. As for the boy, he's 6, so he's in between. All he knows is that I don't live with his father anymore. And then we have shared custody. They spend the week with me, they spend weekends with him. At this time, we're going to share the weekends. So that is how it's been. My children they're fine. It's just a change of environment, but they still get to spend time with their father and their other family members. And we are going well.
Okay, so prior to divorce, what were you doing?
I was working. Okay. I still do.
Okay, in what capacity?
I'm a teacher.
Were you? Okay.
I'm a teacher. I teach. And then before that, I thought that I needed to do something more to just keep myself busy, because I realized that just from school, you come back home, there's a lot of time for you to think about things and feel all alone. But I needed to occupy myself throughout the day where I wouldn't have to sit down and think about these things, you know. So I thought of what to do, and that was how come I thought I needed to pick up myself. I mean,
was it emotionally draining?
It was.
Okay.
Yes, I lost my physically. It was obvious. I mean, those who knew me would ask you, "Are you okay? Are you all right? You're losing weight." Anyway, points where I would talk to myself. I couldn't dress. My sisters would, my younger sister would see me and said, "What is wrong with my sister? You taught me how to dress, and you can't even dress yourself." So these things kept ringing a bell in my ears, and I came to the realization that I was actually losing myself. I would stand in front of the mirror and I'll look at myself and say, "What is wrong? Am I that bad?" You know. So I needed to pick up myself and find myself again. But I could only do that when I kept myself busy.
Okay.
You know, I needed to feel those times that I had nothing doing.
Okay.
Because the devil finds way for the idol.
Yes.
And,
tell me about your support system. What's up? You spoke about your sister, but was family there for you? Was the church there for you?
Yeah.
Friends and all that? Tell me about that.
My biggest problem at the time was I couldn't talk to people about it. Even my family, it took a while for my sisters to get to know what I was actually going through. My in-laws were super, though they were helpless. They gave me all the support I needed. My sister-in-law was and still is very supportive of me. So at the time, my colleagues at work, they were the people, they were the shoulders I cried on, they were the ears that listened to me at the time. So my colleagues at work, yes, they were friends at work. Yeah, they were there for me. They were the people I could pour out to. They were the people who would listen to me, pray with me, and encourage me. You know, and it's not a time where somebody can just tell you, "You know what, leave." You have to make that decision yourself. Though there are some who would wish they could say that, "You know what, pack out," but they couldn't. That decision is left to you as an individual to make. So yes, I got that support from my friends at work. A few people at the church. I couldn't, you know. I was so afraid of what others would think, because when there's a break in marriage, more of the blame is on the woman. You didn't work at it, you didn't try, you know. But people do not know how much you may have put in. So I couldn't talk to, but I talked to my priest.
Okay.
My priest, the priest who blessed our marriage, and he was very supportive.
Okay.
He would check on me every now and then, encourage me, and it worked.
Okay, so were there times you had a relapse and you really needed some help to get back to yourself?
Yeah. There were times that I had relapses, and I needed people to talk to, and I was cautious of who to talk to. how would the reaction be should anybody find out I'm talking to somebody? Because you know, we have those things, don't tell people about your marriage, don't talk to people about the marriage. So I was trying to pick the right people who could be of good help to me. And it was difficult. Even within the family, you are not sure who to talk to. So yes, there were relapses where I had to go back and try to look for help.
Okay, hold on to your thoughts. I would like to announce our WhatsApp and phone-in numbers. Please do not call the WhatsApp line. Someone keeps calling it and disrupting it. Please do not call it. Our WhatsApp line is 055-744-6429, 055-744-6429, and the phone-in lines are 0264-000-997. We are also live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. You just have to like our page and join us in this conversation. Today we are looking at how we can pick up the pieces of our life after divorce. And today my guest is Nafisatu Osman, who is sharing with us how she's been able to get back to her feet after 12 years of marriage and divorce. Please stop calling the WhatsApp line. The numbers to call are 0264000997. Let's come back to picking up after the whole incident. Okay, so previously you had your husband probably supporting the children, supporting you as a wife and all that. Financially, how did you cope? And how did you even make it today?
Yeah, thank you. I have a job that pays me monthly, and I am good at managing what I earn. He still supports his children. He does that. Before I started the business, my first orders, second orders. His family has been very supportive.
Okay.
Very
so
supportive.
let's talk about the business. At what point did you start the business? How long has it been? And then what do you do and all that?
Yes, I started the business February 2021. But the whole idea of the business started during the lockdown. Because here I was at home, locked in there, all by myself. So I started thinking of what to do. So the idea came up. And then I started doing inquiries. So by 2021 February, I had done my first order of the school shoes from China. So when it came in, it went well because I had done my...
But of all the things that was to do, I mean, how did it click to you that you needed to get into the school shoe and bag business?
Then I had not left the marriage. Okay. So I felt that I needed to be more financially independent. I needed my finance to be...
Please hold on to your thought. I'm told we have a first caller. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you are calling from, please. Hello. Okay, kindly call us back again. I'm sure we're having some technical challenges. Please go ahead.
Yes. So that was when it happened. So in February, my first consignment came. It was good. So I talked to a few people about it, and financially, some of them supported me. Like I said, the family has been very supportive. They cushioned me, and then I was able to bring in a few friends also supported me, and here I am. In fit case, my brand is going around.
Okay.
Going around.
Oh, so you created a brand for yourself. Tell me about it.
It's a brand in China that I'm introducing onto the Ghanaian market.
Oh, okay.
Apart from the Clark's school shoes that we know are of good quality.
So you have manufacturers and suppliers in
Yes,
China. Okay.
yes.
All right. Let me read a few messages that have come in this afternoon. Okay, I'm told we have a caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon. Please, your name and where you are calling from.
I'm Abigail.
Okay, where are you calling from, please?
Boku West.
Boku West. Please tell us what you have, what contribution you have.
Good afternoon. I want to contribute to the program.
Please go ahead.
Okay, please, what I want to tell my sister is that she has taken the good step.
Okay, thank you so much for your encouragement.
She's taking a good step, and what she has done, I think, as she said that she has to live, no, is very important, and she has taken a good step. If not, she would have even died in the relationship or in the marriage. All that I'll say is that she has to take time and then take good care of the kids and pray. She's so beautiful, and a lot of people will even come, will even come for her. So she shouldn't worry at all.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. I mean, very often people stay in marriages and die. They lose their lives. They lose themselves. But you took the decision to walk out. And you didn't just walk out and become someone you couldn't even recognize. But you've picked up the pieces, and congratulations for that. Let me read a couple of messages that came in. This person didn't add his name nor where he's sending the message from. He says, please ask her if she's in a relationship at the moment. I'm sure she would answer us later. Whether she wants to even remarry, she will be telling us very soon. Hello, Women's Voice. All I have to say here is that you can just praise one side of the house. We need to hear the other side. That's true. That's how come we are not demonizing anybody for what happened. Looking at, okay, so I'm told. Hello, caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Please, your name and where you are calling from, please.
My name is Comfort. I'm calling from Medina.
Please tell us what you have to say, please.
Oh, all I want to tell my sister is she has really done a great job. In fact, I am yet to get married, but I was facing the same issue, and I didn't really know if I should proceed with the marriage or not. But listening to her this afternoon has really brought happiness to me, and she has really done well. And I want to tell her that God will provide. She shouldn't worry about the kids. Since she has a job and other things doing, she'll be able to take care of the kids.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All I want to say is, God bless her.
Thank you so much. I was reading Kingsley from Kaswa's message earlier on. Kingsley thinks that you've not been probably submissive. You wanted to be on your own already. That's why you left the marriage. But she knows what she went through, and so we can't judge her. This one says, good afternoon to you and your guest. Sorry for the experience Nafisa too went through, but that's one side of the story. It will be good to have the other side. That's true. I agree with you. I also have Jeff from Accra. He says, interesting story from the beautiful woman. May God bless her. She said, there's another one that says, I'm Nana Buedu. I went through the same ordeal, Nafisa. You thought your in-laws were good, isn't it? No, they were not. My name is Tony. Please tell the lady she has to keep unto God, and God would grant her a wonderful man that she would never forget. But I mean, I don't want to bore you with many messages, but I want to find out from you. Someone wanted to know, would you remarry? Do you have that interest to marry? I mean, based on your experiences that you've had.
Marriage is good if you find the right person.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but for now, I'm focusing on my business. where I can grow it to the level I want it to be.
Okay.
If along the line I find somebody interested, why not?
Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, your name and where you are calling from.
Please, my name is Amanda Osman.
Okay.
That's my sister on set.
Okay. What words of encouragement do you have for her?
I just want to tell her that do the right thing, and I hope the brightness ahead of her continue to lead her and give her a better life. Yeah. And give her children whatever she desires for them in this life.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. Let me read some more messages. It said, I'm Ibrahim from Ghana, currently in Germany, listening to Women's Voice. The lady who divorced is nice. Kindly ask her why she doesn't want to get married. She didn't say she didn't want to get married. She said she would if she finds the right man to marry. This one says, okay, I've read this one. It said, I really love the program Women's Voice. In fact, I'm 2 years into my marriage, and I really want to say I have learnt a lot from what she has taught us today. You didn't add your name. This one says, congratulations to your guests. More grace to move on. This is, she said, I'm proud. This one is from Veronica from Bamboy. I believe I got the name right. I'm proud of you, yeah. You're such a strong woman. Stay blessed. Do you believe you're a strong woman?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Not just being strong, tough. It takes a tough person to survive some of these things. Yes. I would have loved us to have the other person here to tell his version of the story, but unfortunately it's not. I love the comments I have received, and I am so grateful. I would encourage any woman, try and be financially independent. It is what keeps most of us women in the marriages that abuse us. Abuse is just not physical. Sometimes emotional abuse even is more dangerous than the physical one, and there are many of us going through it. I would encourage them, get something doing, earn some money for yourself, and you will be able to make some decisions. So I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. I am tough.
Okay, so how is your business growing? Tell us about it.
Business is doing well. Business is doing well. I'm surprised myself.
Okay.
Business is doing well. The brand is going well. People are getting to know it, and the quality is good. So I have no fears. Just that the dollar is running very fast.
Okay.
It's going to affect me. Yeah. Apart from that, yeah, I'm glad I made the decision I did.
Okay. So you say you run a wholesale company. So you have people who'd come and retail, buy for retail.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much do you make? And tell us about your turnovers.
The turnovers is not much. As a wholesaler, it's something small, but my retailers, they do the much of the turnovers. It's not much. I wouldn't want to, but it's not much. But it's keeping me going.
It's keeping you going.
It's keeping me going.
It's keeping you going. Okay. So tell us if. You said if you found the right person, you were going to go into marriage again. What are you looking out for? But hold on to the thought, and then I would call. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I would. I'm not too old. Like someone said, I'm not. I don't look bad. So should anybody meet me, and I think I'm looking out for somebody who is very sensitive to issues. Somebody, we would always say God-fearing. There are God-fearing ones out there, but in the home they are not. So yes, I would love a God-fearing man who is truly God-fearing, one who is sensitive to issues, and not just brush issues under the carpet until it escalates. So yes, I would.
How are you going to rope your children into this?
My children, yes. I'm no longer with your father. I'm a woman. I'm not too old. Should any man come in, yes. My daughter would should understand that, yes.
Please hold on. We have Louise from Takoradi. Please, you're welcome to Women's Voice.
Thank you, madam.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm not listening to I'm watching a program on GBC.
Yes.
And I want to make a little contribution.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I just saw the woman that God says she will provide for her. She should have faith in God, and whatever that happened for a reason. So she should push forward, and everything will be okay for her. And I also want to ask her if she's willing to marry. Maybe I'll give my number to your producer, then we talk. But I'm not married. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. She'll be considering your request. Anyway, let me read some more messages before you continue. This one says, Amma from Awishi. I've been through the same for 14 years. I have been abused in every aspect, and he always did that in the presence of my children. I was depressed and lost myself, but I had the courage to move out. Family and friends were supportive, and God has been faithful. This one says, I'm Ima or Emma from Accra. I don't know whether it's male or female. I want to ask, say, how long were they close before marriage, and has she done diligent investigation about him before? Okay, so she wanted to find out prior to marriage.
Yes.
Did you have any bond, or did you investigate the family?
Yeah, I did have we communicated. We got along very well.
How long did you date or cohabitate before marriage?
I knew him. I would say I had known him for close to 12 years.
Okay.
We've been on and on till when we decided that, look, those on and on things should not be. We want to be together, which we did. But I had known him for close to 11 years.
Okay.
Yeah, before we got married.
You never for once thought that it could end like
not
this?
At all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So share with us, what lessons have you learned from your life experience till date? Now that, I want people out there who are probably facing the same thing to be able to brace themselves up and do something for themselves.
I have learned a lot. I have learned not to brush things under the carpet in a relationship. And assume that the other partner is old enough to know that what he or she is doing is not good enough. Tell him, tell her, this is what is happening, and I think that was a mistake I made, and I have learned from it. That I should have talked about it early enough. I should have complained. I should have nagged. Probably, maybe he was oblivious of what he was doing. He needed somebody to let him know, but I did allow it to flow because of that thing. Though you're nagging, you're complaining, and all of that. So I had to keep all these, and I have learned. Should I ever get married, I'll not allow these things to pass by. As soon as it happens, I'll let you know, and then we deal with it there and there. You know, I also learned that you need to be financially independent. Honestly, my dear, if you don't have the means of income where you know this is what I'm earning, you are stuck. There are some men who will deliberately starve the woman because he knows that you
that
can't.
they are dependent on them.
Yes, you are dependent on them. So it is very important. My independence, financial independence, also kind of pushed me to stay as long as I did, because I could do things for myself when I didn't feel like asking him. He never denied me anything. As long as when I ask and he can give it to me, he did. you know, but where we were as a couple, where we needed to do no talks, no discussions, that was where I had my problem. And I wasn't happy with it because that was not the kind of relationship I wanted. I wanted us to be friends. I wanted us to be a brother and a sister. I didn't get that. But being financially independent it's one thing I learned, and that was why I thought I had to add on to my income. And hence the business that I have built and grown.
I mean, if someone is interested in your product, I mean, you didn't talk much about it for people to know what you deal in, and then probably they want to patronize or do business with you.
I deal in school shoes for school children. The brand is Fit Kids, and the quality is very high. I would even say better than Clarks. You know, and I'm introducing it onto the market. Some of the schools have got them, and the few who have are happy with it. So if anybody is interested, you walk into my shop. I have a shop along the Adenta Medina Highway, and we discuss.
So I mean, you said some schools have it. Does that mean that the schools come and buy in bulk and then sell to their...
When I started small, I made flyers and I took them to my kids' school, where I gave the flyers out to parents. So they picked them one by one. And before I realized, many of the school children have it. So my distributors come in, pick it. They also sell to schools. We sell as far as Wa, Bogos, Takwa. We're all over.
Wow. Are you across Ghana or just a few regions?
We're trying to cross Ghana.
Okay. Yes. All right, let me move on to some messages. Someone wanted to find out whether you thought you guys were not compatible.
Yes, at a point that's what I thought.
Okay.
At a point, yes, because I did all I could. I wanted it to work. I really wanted it to work, but I felt that when there's no affection, there can't be compatibility.
Okay. So William Kofi says, from her narration, it's evident that she didn't meet the right partner. It's not too late with God. God would provide you with whomever he deems fit. Nana Kofi Dodu Ewa from Asinfosu says, I want to know what triggers the issues that lead to divorce. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, the issue was just that I was not happy. I was not happy. I was just living in, would I call it cohabitating, and I didn't feel a part of a home that I thought I was building, you know, and that's it. I just felt that no, I was draining emotionally. I wasn't happy. I was not at all. And for that reason, I felt I had to leave, because being unhappy was affecting me in so many ways. Depression set in. I got too frustrated with so many things. And I didn't want that. It wasn't healthy for me and even my children, because there were times I would vent my frustration on my daughter. And I didn't like that. So I thought that no, it was time for me to pick up myself. And that was the only way to do that, was to walk out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me come back to this message. It says, hello, Women's Voice, Lady Nafisa. Everything happens for good, and you look adorable, bold and chaste. Stay blessed. This person didn't add their name, but obviously they think you've kept yourself so well. Someone, I wish I'll have the opportunity to come and share my story, because we have to encourage our fellow women to break the silence. I've been the worst. I've been the worst, and I'll be glad to share it. Okay, thank you so much for this person didn't add their name, but we are grateful that you are learning from Nafisa's story. I hope you are picking up the pieces of your life to make something worthy of note. Let's come back to some challenges that you've experienced in your business since you started, and how you were able to overcome them, because I mean, it's not all rosy when you're starting a business, but you need some form of determination, perseverance to be able to. So share with us some of your experiences. Yes. I mean, it's not like you contacted your suppliers from China and it's been rosy.
It's not been rosy. It's not been rosy. First of all, it's very much capital intensive. You need the money, and your manufacturers and suppliers are not going to supply you without money. Yes, so the money was my first challenge. Okay. I needed to gather some capital, and that is where I say I am so blessed. The lady said, I thought my in-laws loved me, but they didn't. I am sure about it, because they've been supportive in this business, and I'm grateful. Apart from that, the marketing, you know, you're bringing in a new brand that people are not very familiar with. I needed to get out there to sell the product, to convince people that it is good. Yes, so this was one of the challenges. I had to go out there. I had to go as far as Kumasi, visit the schools, take my proposals and samples to show. And then the clients, you know, there are people who would want think that, look, let me get it from the source. It's much more cheaper. And so they go behind you and they try. I mean, it's not easy. It's not been rosy. But like I said, God has been on my side. Since I left, things have been very smooth for me. Okay. God has been good. Friends have been supportive. Family have been supportive.
Okay, we thank God for that. All too soon our time is up. We've been talking for about an hour now. But before I come to you to probably tell us your final thoughts on how to pick up the pieces after a divorce, let me read my final message. This is from Listowell. Listowell is from sending us the message from Talo Oil. He says, please tell my sister she's so beautiful and nothing should stop her from reaching her goals. I'm single if she would consider me. Okay, so I don't know how you would get to find her after this program, but I wish you the best anyway. All right, so your final thoughts. If you want to give out your number, that's fine. I don't know. Okay.
My final thought to other women, it's not easy. I mean, taking a decision to leave a marriage is not an easy one. But know your condition. I was reading the news a few days ago where a teacher had killed his wife by beating her. It's the most of us think the abuse should be physical for everybody to see. The emotional one is even more dangerous. That one you can lose your mind, you become mental. Take that decision. It is difficult. Make that decision. Empower yourself as a woman. Find something doing. Don't be too dependent on the man, because it is not all men. They get frustrated too when everything has to come back to them. And sometimes, so my final words to every woman who is going through one or two of these things that I have just expressed: find yourself. It is good to try to work at it, but if you reach a point where you feel it is not working, my dear, leave to live. Okay. Leave to live, because depression can kill you. And if depression doesn't kill you, one day he will kill you physically. Okay. Because the intention is not to kill, but he might hit you in the wrong place and you won't come back. And our children, they need us. Our children need us. I had to leave because of my children. Our mothers will tell you, oh, I'm calling because of the children, stay. And I said, I'm leaving because of my children. They are very important to me. So that is it. I mean, be bold. It is not easy. If anyone said it is easy to leave a marriage, it's a lie. I had a friend who told me that you are wicked. You need to be hard-hearted to walk out of a marriage. It's not easy. It's not easy. But we need to, where it is not working, please, in the name of God, walk out.
Thank you so much, Nafisa, to Osman, for sharing your story with us, and also going beyond the story to also tell viewers how they could pick up the pieces of their lives after they've been through such turmoils. I would want to end this program by leaving you with this quote. It says that when you can tell your story and it doesn't make you cry, then you know you have healed. when you can tell your story and it doesn't make you cry, then you know you have healed. Nafisa too has healed from her past, and she's moving on. I hope you do same. Thank you so much for being with us. It's still the Heritage Month, so today I think I rocked it quite better. Thank you so much for your time. See you same time next week.